Float Explorer here. We're at Fort Dade, Egmont Key. We're at the battery portion of the fort. This is Battery Mellon. There's another battery on the other side of it. There's a battery there, and there's another one down around the other end. These batteries would have been just places where guns would have been kept, ammunition would have been maintained nearby within these casemates. And this was the foundation from which the guns shot. These guns would have been non-mobile. They'd have been able to turn them a little teeny bit here, a little teeny bit there, up and down. They didn't need a whole lot of elevation or windage on either end because there's such a narrow passage. And anybody coming, also they have minefields, but anybody who would be coming in an area where they just would get blown out of the water. I mean, there's just no need to use a lot of technical terms to explain that. This is a very cool representation. Actually, even cooler than Fort DeSoto. I guess simply because they have more here, and the ranger was actually telling me that this was the main fort of the two. That it was their sister forts, but this was actually the big sister, the one that used to beat on you all the time. So this is Battery Mellon, Charles Mellon, named after an Army officer who died fighting the Seminoles in the Second Seminole War. So there's some kind of neat ruin out there. I don't know what that is, but it's pretty cool. We're gonna take a walk through here and ultimately wind up on top of the guns would have been. These things would have been manned. There would have been people that not necessarily lived here, but they would have stayed here during their shift. And supplies for their needs would have been here.
Let me go from here, that one. I want to go in the water.
Everything from shells to gunpowder. I'm sure there would have been some sort of sustenance for them out here to some degree. Looks like they're restoring this. That's very cool. Original iron beam. Nice. Well, you know what that would have been for? That would have been for moving something back and forth, stacking. That would have been a railing. They would have used that as a railing. They would have had pulleys on that, moving it back and forth. So this must be, this is pretty substantial. This must be where they stored the shells or gunpowder. It's very heavy, that's for sure. And the whole point of this battery, this whole area out here would be to maintain the guns, to maintain the vigilance of this post. I mean, that's what this post was here for, was to keep watching, make sure nobody attacked us through Tampa Bay. And this was it. Once they got past these, in Fort DeSoto, they'd have been in. They would have been in. So this would have been a gun emplacement here. In fact, we're on top now, so these are all 1, 2, 3 across. They would have been all gun emplacements. I don't know what this would have housed, but everything here was either related to firing these guns. I mean, that's all it would have been to. It would have been supporting these guns and their ability to fire and to sustain the men who manned them and fired them. So you get a really good view from here to Tampa Bay. You know, the guy was telling me because of erosion, this was once more in the middle of the island. So you picture the island out, maybe where that sailboat is, or there's buoys or something like that. It would have been quite a ways out further. because they wouldn't have built something so close to where it would have potentially gotten eroded. So interesting to see what those burnout telephone poles would have supported. So anyway, this is Battery Melon. Very cool stuff. The ruins, the leftovers, remains. And these shots would have been fired. They were never fired in anger, but they would have practiced on a regular basis and kept their marksmanship up and their readiness levels up. So a lot of shells went into the water from this angle right here, and as well as the other batteries too. So super compelling stuff, historically speaking. This was a very high readiness station, especially during the Spanish-American War and immediately thereafter. And I'm sure even after up to and after World War II, they were ready for whatever happened, even though they didn't expect anything to happen necessarily. They were ready for it. So, that's it. That's the Gulf of Mexico. This is the way to get into Tampa Bay. You would invade Tampa. You can invade Florida through here. There aren't a lot of deep water ports in the state of Florida, and this is one of them. And this is one of the places you would have invaded and landed troops, if you were going to try to invade our country. This would have been one of the places to do it from. So just a very, very cool, compelling place. I'm glad I got a chance to get out here finally. I'm glad I got a chance to explore this area. We're going to explore a little bit more, do some photographing, and head back hopefully before the outgoing tide so we can over to Texas. For now, we are out.